Hi, my name is Kevin. I go to a civil engineering and construction college. I don't like studying, but my parents made me apply. You are a man and you need a man's profession. But I like drawing. Then draw business centers and cool hotels. They pay well for it. That sounded so boring, but I couldn't tell my father that. Instead of drawing paper, I used my face. I came up with different looks and transformed. Here, check this out. I even designed the tattoo on my wrist myself. It was a good thing that my father hadn't seen it. My college was in another city, and I rented an apartment there. I had always liked streams, and one day I decided that I wanted to have one too. However, I immediately realized there was a problem. It turned out that the most popular streamers were girls. That was how it all started. You've probably guessed it already. I started to stream looking like a girl. Makeup and women's clothing did their job. My voice was naturally high. The push-up bra I wore under a top convinced everyone I was a girl. I started filming videos and streaming that same day. I was just doing it for fun, but the audience suddenly went wild. The stream got into the recommendations, and I got a lot of subscribers. Cool, right? The next day, I came to college. I probably looked very pleased with myself because Sam noticed it and asked me why I was so happy. I didn't want to tell anyone about my new hobby, even my best friend. I didn't think he would get it. I'm just in a good mood. It's nothing. I rushed home right after class and transformed back into a girl and started streaming. There were even more viewers than the day before. Damn, I was really popular. In college, I was quite a nerd, but there I could be a confident and cheeky girl. Isn't it nice to have an alter ego? What do you think? I started streaming every night. In a few days, I had 10,000 followers. But then, things got complicated. One day after the lectures, my classmates decided to go to a skate park. David, the coolest and toughest guy in college, had organized everything. I wanted to come along, but had an evening stream planned. In the end, Sam convinced me to hang out with them a little. I didn't really skate, so I just watched my classmates and constantly looked at the clock. After some time, I was about to leave so as not to be late for the stream, when David noticed that. Are you going to leave? What, you have more important things to do? Wallflower? I lied about my mom being sick and said I had to look after her. They would have believed me, but then Sam broke in. He was surprised and said that my parents live in another city. Damn it! I had to think of something. Yes, but she came here for a few days and came down with a fever. As I was leaving, my classmates were looking at me very suspiciously, but then quickly forgot all about me and continued to have fun. At home, I changed my clothes and started to stream. Wait, what was that? I suddenly noticed that I had been mentioned in some article. I read it and was stunned. It turned out I was one of the fastest growing bloggers out there. A couple of days later, a promotion company contacted me. They offered me a contract. Of course, I agreed. From that moment on, my popularity started to grow even faster. Or rather, not mine, but Kelly's. That was my pseudonym on the channel. Nice to meet you. But one day, I saw my classmates during a stream. Damn it, if they recognized me, I would be finished. But they were cool and tough dudes in my college, and I knew they wouldn't get it. I was so worried that I even skipped classes the next day. When Sam called me, I lied and said that my mom was sick again. However, on Monday, I decided to go to college. All the students were discussing something and watching something on their phones. No one was paying any attention to me, and I relaxed a bit. It soon turned out I shouldn't have. I sat down next to Sam. He was staring at something on his phone. Just like everyone else, I asked him what had him so hooked, and you wouldn't believe it. He was watching my stream. Look at how cool she is. I think I'm in love. I almost fell off my chair and stared at the screen with my mouth open. Sam thought it was from admiration and grinned knowingly. Chill out, man. This is my crush. She's way out of your league. At first, it bothered me that everyone in college was watching my streams. I was afraid someone would find out it was me. But then I realized no one suspected me. Everyone just loved Kelly. Soon enough, advertising companies contacted me. I started earning a whole lot more. I had money. I had never been so rich and decided to go wild. I bought clothes and expensive gadgets and even fulfilled an old dream of mine. One day, I came to college on a cool bike. Naturally, everyone noticed my new stuff. My classmates immediately asked where I had gotten so much money from. Did you win a lottery? I had to lie again and said I'd found a part-time job. I delivered pizzas after classes and managed to save up a little. One day, I came to college on my bike again. At the same time, David arrived in his car. He caught me off guard, so I lost control of the bike and hit his car. I barely tapped it, but there were scratches and dents left on it. David immediately started yelling, "You're done for! If you don't bring me my money for repairs and polishing tomorrow, you'll be in a world of trouble!" He demanded an obscene amount of money. It was such bad timing. I had just spent almost all my savings, so I asked my subscribers to donate during the evening stream. Just imagine, a few people sent me a lot of money. The next day, I gave it to David. He was stunned. He asked me where I had got the money from. "Well, that's none of your business, buddy. I don't owe you anything anymore." I dealt with that problem, but during the lecture, I got another one because Sam seriously stated he was in love with Kelly. Was he an idiot? It really bothered me, but I didn't know how to tell him the truth. In the evening, I started a stream as usual. I had long noticed one particular follower that was sending me messages every stream. They had even found out my social media and sent me compliments after streams as well. I had no idea who it was. I couldn't tell their gender by the nickname, and they weren't using their photo as a profile picture. It could have even been Sam. Long story short, my popularity soon reached new heights, and I became one of the most popular bloggers on the platform. My photos and videos often appeared in different articles, and other bloggers offered me collabs. I got an agent and a partner company. One day, they offered to organize a huge meetup with fans for me. It took place in the city center, and a ton of my fans showed up. It was very emotional. I couldn't believe that it was all real. I finally started to feel like I was really Kelly, and no one suspected I was actually a guy. At the end of the meetup, we had an autograph session. A lot of people I recognized came up to me. Even Sam was among them. It was awkward, and I tried to get rid of him as soon as possible. When the queue for my autograph finally came to an end, I suddenly felt very hot. I took off my jacket and was left in my top. The last person in the queue was another classmate of mine. His name was Will. I signed his notebook and left him with my agent. I only noticed that I had forgotten to cover up my tattoo at home. I usually hid it under a layer of foundation. Luckily, no one seemed to have noticed anything. Late at night, I got a call from Sam. He told me about the fan meetup with Kelly. Listening to him was unbearable. I quickly said goodbye and hung up. I couldn't keep lying to everyone. The next day, I asked Sam to meet me after school and told him the truth about everything. For several long seconds, he just looked at me, stunned. Then it dawned on him. He got upset. "Why didn't you tell me earlier? You're not my friend anymore." Heck, that was exactly the reaction I had been afraid of. Sam left and didn't let me explain anything. The atmosphere in college wasn't great either. Everyone was whispering behind my back and discussing my sudden wealth. After all, aside from the gadgets, clothes, and bike, I had also bought a new apartment in a high-rise and moved to the city center. Rumors spread very quickly, and nobody believed my lie about a side job anymore. I had to quickly think of something and told my classmates I had come into a large inheritance, but of course, no one believed me. After that, things got even worse. I started getting threatening letters. "I know you're Kelly, and I'll tell your little secret to everyone in college." Where could I have made a mistake? I immediately suspected Sam. He was the only one who knew my secret. I tried to talk to him several times, but each time, he just told me to go to hell. One day, another letter came. The sender was demanding money for their silence. They had gone too far. My first impulse was to go to the police, but I didn't want to draw any attention to myself. I couldn't drop out of college either. My parents would have immediately thrown a fit. I didn't want them to know the truth. One day, I decided to talk to Sam. I managed to catch up with him at the canteen. I pushed him against the wall and demanded an explanation. We had been friends, so why was he sending me those stupid letters? Sam immediately said that he hadn't written me anything. I knew Sam's tells and could see he wasn't. Weirdly enough, it seemed he was telling the truth. "Listen, I'm sorry I didn't tell you everything right away. I still consider you a friend." Sam didn't say anything and left. However, as I was leaving college, a classmate of mine suddenly came up to me. I remember that his name was Will. He had gotten Kelly's autograph at the meetup. Will wanted to talk to me. We moved away from the front door, and he confessed something. It turned out that he was the one sending me the threatening letters. That jerk! Will demanded money again. He said that if I didn't pay him, he would tell everyone about me. I had no choice but to take out my wallet and give him the amount he was asking for. "How did you find out about me? I noticed your tattoo when you took off your jacket. You are the only one with a tattoo like that. You once said that you had drawn the sketch yourself." Damn it! I was such an idiot. Will took the money and left. I hoped that would be the end of it. How naive of me. Will started demanding money all the time. One day, I got so tired of it and said I wouldn't give him another dime. After that, Will started provoking me and hinting that I was doing something indecent where other students could hear. I had to pay him to keep his mouth shut again. Things couldn't go on like that. I was so nervous I got jumpy and didn't sleep well. I started to look stressed and got huge bags under my eyes. Both my audience and classmates noticed it. One day before a lecture, Sam sat down next to me. I wasn't expecting that. I thought he didn't want to talk to me anymore. You look terrible. Has something happened? I told Sam about my problems and he supported me. From that moment on, we became friends again. We tried to think of a way out of the mess, but nothing came to mind. In college, everyone made fun of me. David and his friends bothered me the most. I was even afraid to imagine what would happen if my secret was revealed. The only thing that improved my mood was the support of my audience. My mysterious fan was very active. After each stream, I got messages with compliments and cute stickers from them. One day, David started making fun of me in college again. I got terribly angry and lost my temper. I barely sat through a few lectures and decided to deal with him. During a break, I found him in the hallway. David was sitting on a windowsill and watching something on his phone. I came closer and wanted to pounce on him, but then he looked over his shoulder by accident. You wouldn't believe what I saw on his phone screen. David was watching videos on YouTube. I was shocked when I saw his username and profile picture. David had been the one confessing his love to me, or rather, Kelly. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Then I got an idea. I didn't talk to David and quietly walked away before he noticed me. In the evening, Will called me again and demanded I buy him a cool MacBook. I asked him to wait a little. Immediately after our conversation, I sent a message to David using Kelly's account. Asked him out. Yes, you heard that right. Naturally, David agreed and sent me a ton of virtual hearts. The next day, we met in an old park. We practically were the only people there. We walked, talked, and David bent over backwards to please me. Just imagine, he even gave me flowers. He told me that he has been watching my streams for a long time. David hid from everyone as to not ruin his reputation of a tough guy. And then, I got what I wanted. David told me he was in love with me. It was all so ridiculous. I sneakily turned on my camera and recorded his confession. Then, I abruptly took off my wig and burst out laughing. It's me, Kevin! Don't you recognize me? You should have seen his face. David was shocked. I enjoyed the moment and promised to tell everyone about his infatuation. It's your word against mine. No one will believe you. I grinned and showed David the video. He tried to grab my phone to delete it, but I had already copied it to the iCloud folder. David gritted his teeth with anger. He asked me what I wanted for my silence. That was what I was counting on. There's a guy in our class. His name is Will. He's bothering and blackmailing me. Make him leave me alone and no one will see this video. David's reputation played into my hands. Everyone respected and feared him. I knew Will would listen to him. And you know what? My plan worked. David had no choice but to threaten Will. I don't know what he said to him, but that jerk stayed away from me from then on. David also backed up my story about inheritance. Thanks to that, everyone eventually left me alone. Now Sam is the only one who really knows my secret. We held together through thick and thin and only got closer. I'm still making millions. I try not to spend too much money as to not make people envy me. Kelly is one of the most popular bloggers out there. I hope someday I will have the courage to reveal my secret, and my fans will support me. I especially worry about my parents. Do you think they will accept me? After all, everyone has the right to be themselves.